task today is to just give you an update, give you an highlight in regards to our accomplishments in 2025 and 2020 and the plans for 2026, our vision for 2026. So thank you. So this is just a reflection, just for some of you. You might be wondering, um, that this presentation might belong. I promise you, it's going to be very short and to the point. And then, if you have any questions, you are welcome to ask at the end of after Mr. Ken has presented his own part of the presentation. So again, this is a brief highlight of what we've accomplished in 2025 and our vision for the upcoming year. And we also have to remember that the goal for us for this club is to always make sure that we align our plans for the year with our eight strategies. Okay. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit distracted here because I am trying to get away from being distracted. Sorry about that. Okay, so my apologies. My apologies. Okay. So in 2025, the Rotary Club World of Disability strengthened its role as a global voice for disability advocacy and inclusion. And the following are the key highlights, which are number one of our major highlights is the October event, hosting the October Global Inclusive Education Summit, expanding international dialogue and collaboration. It's amazing how many people registered, and Mr. can share some data in regards to that. And kudos to Ms. Sonia and other team members that helped with that. The next one is advancing advocacy, awareness and education across disability related issues, strengthening partnerships and cross club engagement, which included a visit from our new district governor, Mr. Johnny Ehan. I hope I pronounced his name correctly. We see that as an accomplishment for a small club like ours, small but mighty. Launching the new club website is a big one for us, including features to support donations and grant opportunities. The next highlight is increasing club membership and engagement. As you can see, we continue to add um, wonderful people to our club. We're excited about what our new team members will be bringing in to our club, forming specialized working groups such as fundraising and legal teams to leverage member expertise. We have an attorney on board, Barrister Adenike Shijuade, and we also have Miss Barrister Sarah Nat. So they help with that legal aspect of our club, with bringing in knowledge in regards to disability legislations as it pertains to different countries. So we are excited about that, and that is still work in progress. All right. So the next one is, which is one of my favorites, the different YouTube educational videos and podcast content that it has helped to reach nations. It's amazing that a small club like this is doing this. The next one is initiating fundraising efforts to support sustainable programming. Also, building systems that promote accountability, transparency, and long-term impact. So these accomplishments, they all reflect our commitment to purposeful, mission-driven work, which all aligned with our 8 pillars of strategic plan. Okay, so these are the ongoing work at the moment as we close out 2025. There are several efforts that are actively underway. Again, is the planning future for the inclusive education and advocacy initiatives, the continued education and advocacy and system navigation efforts, offering training sessions for board members, club members, and friends of the club. Also, strengthening our board, our governance, financial transparency, and leadership development. It's very important to us. It's the core of our club. Supporting individuals and partner organizations who bring their own advocacy projects and initiatives into the club. So our newest baby is actually the new youth services initiatives, which is going to be held by one of our esteemed board members, Dr. Doreen Marie. I'm excited about that one. So regarding the 2026 vision and where we're going, our focus is our international growth, measurable impact, and shared accountability. Our work, again, will continue to be guided by the 8 pillars of the RCWDAs. Mr. Ken will expand on these 8 pillars. And before he does, I just want to call to action, like since each pillar represents a call to action and not just a guiding principle, I just want to call to action to everyone that whether you're a friend of the club, club member, or affiliates of the club, there are expectations, because in 2026 is going to be exciting. As you know, we're asking for renewed and active commitment, and such as every member and friend of our club is encouraged to please, commit to at least one project that is aligned with one of our 8 pillars. Okay. The projects may include advocacy, education, research, outreach, media, fundraising, event planning, or partnership development. Whatever you can contribute to this wonderful club, please be open to it. No idea is ever seen as foolish or silly. We are open to ideas and anything to support the population that we serve. Okay, so like as I said, so participation may be through time, skills, leadership, or resources. What matters most is your engagement and follow through. So we're excited about that. So this shared approach, it ensures accountability, it strengthens the impact of our club and supports the long-term growth of our mission. Okay. So I'm excited about this, and the newest baby is the Youth Services Initiatives, which I believe Mr. Ken is gonna probably talk briefly about it, or Dr. Doreen may could even chime in. So is in closing, as we look ahead, again, our goal is to remain focused. Very important, inclusive and accountable. That is very, very important so that we can, reflect Rotary values. It's very important for me personally. And then we also want to reflect the lived experiences of the disability community. So at this point, I would like to pass on the baton to Mr., our esteemed president, Mr. Kenneth Mason. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, Dr. Akarangi. She and I make a good team in the sense that I'm the one who's got all these dreams, and she's the logical one. So it's always good to have conversations with her because she always kind of brings me down to earth on that. But yeah, we have a lot of things that I don't know if you mentioned the website. Did you mention that, Dr. Akarangi? You did.
Okay. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. So the pillars, the 8 pillars, I believe, is what you will be presenting to our 8 pillars. Yeah. Yes, I did mention it here.
I'll get into that and just briefly on that because I know we're running over time. But thank you for that update. Much better than I could have ever done. So much appreciated. And I want to turn over to one of our members who was actually our CFO of the club, because it's always been a pleasure to talk with Sanjeev, and I know Sanjeev, how long have you been a member of the club?
I think 1.5 years.
1.5 years, okay.
Yeah.
And he's worked his way up rather quickly to our CFO. And Sanjeev, you're originally from India,
Yes.
and you now live in Canada.
Yeah.
And in India, were you familiar with Rotary, or you're involved in Rotary?
No, I
Okay,
didn't know about Rotary.
and you didn't know about Rotary until just a year and a half ago, basically, right? Or had you ever heard of Rotary before?
Yeah, little before, but not much about. Like I know that there is a Lion Club, there is a Rotary Club, there is another two or three clubs, but I never involved.
Well, I asked you to speak for a few minutes because Rotary's meant a lot to you. And can you talk a little bit about what that's meant to you being a member of Rotary?
Yeah, first of all, thank you for giving me this opportunity, and I thanks Diana and Dr. Retranki about their vision, talking about the vision and what we need to do in 2026 and 27. Thank you, Dr. Retranki. Thank you, Diana. So before I talk about what this club's membership means to me today, I just want to talk briefly where I was before I joined this club. Uh, so as I was going through very bad phase of my life. Um, because I was 18-month old when I got polio and got this paralytic polio, and since then I was on wheelchair, and then I grow, started work, everything was fine till 2018-19. So I was leading a normal life on a wheelchair for around 53 54 years after getting the polio. But then uh, all of a sudden I got this post polio syndrome. I was not ever heard about this PPS. um, the day my neurologist told me that it is PPS, and he explained me what is that. And the thing is, I become within a 6 month homebound, just like my mobility totally gone. I was lying down all day on my bed in my room, stopped working, and like it's very hard, when you stop working after almost 35 years of your professional life. And I was living with the constant pain. It's pain like a stabbing pain. Someone is stabbing you with a knife and then circulating it. Uh, Totally bedridden, and slowly I was getting into the depression, very deep depression. And at that time, I just searching about this post polio syndrome on internet, and then I found March of Dimes polio sport group, and from there I got Mona Arsenal, and I joined her sport group, and she gave me little bit light up, no, life is still there. And then she told me about this club, and she introduced me to our esteemed and very handsome president, Mr. Ken. And I don't know what he saw in me. He believed me uh, at a time when I was struggling. I was struggling. I was even struggling about myself. I was not trusting myself. Uh, and then he first inducted me as a honorary club, and I know the day when Diana inducted me into this club. Um, and later he trusted me with the responsibility of the treasurer, maybe because I was a financial advisor, working as financial advisor here in bank. So he gave me this responsibility, And then he also inducted me into the board. And then he talked me with a lot. Like after the meetings, he started talking me, and actually he was the person who took me into the back to the normal life, on my bed. Um, he took me out of the depression. So thank you, Ken, for taking me out of the depression. Why I'm talking about this? I'm sharing this especially with the new members, and also a reminder to our existing members, because this club does something very special, very powerful. No association, no club does what this our club RCWDA do to our members. So RCWDA, Rotary Club of World Disability Advocacy, believes in people, believes in disabled people, does advocacy for them. So it gives us a chance. It sees ability beyond our disability. And when a club believes in you, it also places responsibility on you, responsibility on us. Now it's our turn to stand up for the rights and welfare of the disabled community, our turn to advocate with honesty, integrity, and the heart, and our to work with what I call the 3Ds for the fourth D. So it is discipline, determination, dedication to do the advocacy for the fourth D, that is disability community. So that is the bigger responsibility. Looking ahead, I truly believe that the future of this club is very strong, because it's built on lived experience, compassion, and trust. Thank you very much, uh, you to all. You are like my family, and you gave me. Uh, I don't think that most of the psychiatrist or physiologist, whatever their name is, they do. Like, you gave me that. You gave me my life back. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sanjeev. Yeah, thank you on that.
We love you.
It's been a pleasure to work with you over the last year and a half, and I look forward to many years in the future doing that. But you're a good example of what somebody can do in this club. We have many things. We're only less than 5 years old at this point. There's many projects we want to work on. We have 8 directions, pillars that we want to work on. There's opportunity for anybody. It's a good opportunity to not only give to the community as service about self, but it also comes back to you too, as you're a good example of that. You grow from that. So much a pleasure, and thank you for the talk you just gave to us. What I'd like to do is one of the things for the annual meeting is to talk about the officers of the club that need to be elected for the upcoming year. And I'd like to share with you, if I can do this, because I'm on a different computer today, the list of our officers for the next year. Let's see. There we are. Wow. I always surprise myself. So let me start from the current slide. So these are our officers for the next year. Now, the Rotary year normally runs from July 1 until June 30th. And these officers, many of which will serve that term. Let me just go through each one rather quickly. So we have new co-presidents that will start on July 1, and that is Dr. Martha Castilla. And she brings to us many years of knowledge, and she has a global view that she'll bring to it. Along with her will be John McFarlane, and John is from Dr. Martha's from United States, but originally from Mexico. I love saying Mexico. And John is from Ireland, and John, his story is incredible. It would take another half a day to go through all the accomplishments that John has done, and particularly in Rotary. So we're very glad to have the two of them on board. Our vice president, starting at July 1, will be Mark Stoddard. Those of you who know Mark, and he's in this room today, has dedicated. He's perfect because he's all about service, about self, and he's working on improving education, particularly for neurodiverse, and particularly with a focus on dyslexia. And not only that, he's a world-renowned artist, or sculpturist, and we're proud to have him on board with that global and its thing. And it says, I've given you a title, this Anjiva, Chief, I think I for there, financial officer, and you're the current chief financial officer on there. Secretary is going to be Adeniki. I hope I'm saying that right. She's from England. She will bring to the starting on January 1. Actually, she's coming on board as secretary. She's got such a vast background, but particularly her legal knowledge is going to bring strength to the board. Danilo, accessibility chair. Danilo has been on with us since day one, and his knowledge in accessibility has created the website for us, which is something which has been a 5-year goal, and we finally accomplished it a couple of weeks ago. Communications chair is Tatum, who you met today. And Tatum, in addition to her educational background, has a vast knowledge in social media communications, which is what we're all about. Education chair is Sonia, and for those of you who have known Sonia and the work that she has done on the Inclusive Education Summit, it gives her a lot of strength that she brings to us in that field, and that's one of our key areas that we're focusing on right now. Foundation chair is Anne, and oh man, Anne and her knowledge of how to run an organization, and her focus on global and local issues, and her involvement in Kenya brings to her a real strength for us. Our membership chair, Angie, who we never know where she is because she travels the world so much, but man, she's got so much energy and so many ideas, and it's a pleasure to have her on board. By the way, as you can see, Sonia's going to come on January 1 as the education chair. The membership chair and the project chair, Dr. Maria from Brazil. The projects that have come in and her analysis of them has made her worthy of being a part of what we do, a very important part of what we do, because projects is an important part of what we're going to do. We're going to change the project direction a little bit in the near future. We'll be announcing that. She has a sound knowledge of what it takes to do a project. And then, in fact, Dr. Maria, I think you and I briefly talked about it, but in March, I think you're going to do a presentation. We're going to start training courses, and one of them is how to do a project. Youth Service Chair is Dr. Doreen. Dr. Doreen has been the Education Chair, but she's now going to take on this Youth Service Chair, which is from the day I started here. the importance of youth in Rotary and in this club and in our cause has always been in my mind, and she's got the expertise to do that. And she's already put together a proposal of what she'd like to do in the committee, and so she's starting. I got July 1, Dr. Doreen, but you're starting January 1 on that position. And then Dr. Aderonki and I will become past presidents on July 1, which is still a board position and still very much active in the club. So that's our team. And I look forward to having opportunities for club members to meet more of them. But on our website, I think there's access to how you can reach each one of them. The interesting thing about this group is that look at the countries that this board of directors represents. Hopefully I didn't miss any, but what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I don't know, Diana, if you're still here, but I don't think you can find many boards in Rotary in the world that can say that. I really believe
I am still here, and this is amazing. Yeah. And I think we have to share that with Rotary International.
I don't know if there's any other board like that in the world. If there are, it's maybe not quite as diverse. I know some of the virtual clubs may have a board like that, but it doesn't come close to that many different countries represented on a board. I always wanted to make sure that we're global and we're global represented. So some of them are living in that country. Some of them are past members of those countries. I love it. I really, really love it. It makes one of the things that really makes me happy about this club. And the diversity of the club too. My guess is if you look at the members, you probably see there's no other club that has members as diverse as we are. So much appreciate that. What I did want to talk about, what Dr. Andaraki has talked about, mentioned a couple of times, is that a while ago, 6 months or more ago, we had worked on it for quite a while, maybe worked on it for 6 months. We came up with a strategic plan. That strategic plan, for anybody who wants to see it, is on Google Drive. And we'd be glad to share the link to you so you can see it. But what the strategic plan does call for is that we will focus on 8 different pillars. I think that's important because prior to us creating this, we were kind of going in 800 different directions. And this kind of zeroes down on who we are and what we're going to focus on. And just like Rotary itself has 7 areas of focus, we now have 8 areas of focus. And I just want to briefly go through them. But as I go through them for the members of the club and potential members of the club, you may want to think about, where would I fit in and where would I like to do? And it may not be just one area, it may be multiple areas on this. But I'm going to start with inclusive education because that's the one that's been going on for 2 years now and just had its summit back in October where we had 800 people register for that event. It's as the more and more we get into it, the more we see how important that is in the world right now, how passionate people are about it. And how important it is for the children to get proper education without any boundaries attached to it. So that's the direction we're taking. And there's many, many more things we're going to be doing in that area. The legal, which is actually headed up by our secretary, Nikki. And we're going to take on some of the various legal aspects of that impact disability on a global level. We'll keep our focus on global levels. Access to health and medical resources, headed up from now soon to be president, or co-president of the club, Dr. Martha. And one of the things she and I have talked about is that in June or the middle of the year, we're going to do a similar to the education summit. We're going to do a health summit. And she and I are working on that. And we look forward to that and help people better understand the health issues, but health also information is important on health, so to make sure that people have accurate information on different things regarding disabilities. And Dr. Mather is a medical doctor, so she's well qualified for that. Employment and vocational. I actually would love to take that on. That was my background. I worked with employment and getting people with disabilities jobs. So I'm going to get that pillar up and running very soon, and we'll see where we go with it. But it's going to focus on not only on helping people get jobs, but it's also going to focus on people. A lot of times people with disabilities, because they struggle more with getting a job than other people do because of basically discrimination. So we're going to also talk about when you want to start up your own business, because oftentimes 9 out of 10 businesses fails. And then just basically because they haven't been working properly informed on what to do. Information and communications, that's at the essence of advocacy. That's going to be a pillar which we're going to work on again in the next year. We're already doing part of that in disseminating information to the world and proper information about communications, about people with disabilities and disability issues and so forth, to make sure that they get the proper information, that it is accurate. The information is accurate. Assistive devices and technology. Again, that's going to be a focus for us in the next year. Obviously, extremely important in the disability world in various ways, because it helps people with disabilities, particularly, becoming more inclusive. So you'll hear more about that soon. Accessibility to built environments. I think it goes beyond built environments. Also, it goes up to digital environments. And that's one of the things, certainly when we set up our website, I should call it, we wanted to make sure that it was as accessible as we possibly could with using the company called the Club Runner on that. Accessibility, we want to encourage people with advocates who are advocates around the world to make sure that they are promoting, make sure that they speak up when there is not accessibility, both in a built environment and in the digital environment. I think we need to do some work with Rotary on that also. Social and attitudinal accessibility, that's got a lot to do with things like ableism, stigma. It's got to do with discrimination, and it's extremely important, because that's a lot of things that people with disabilities struggle with constantly. So there's our focus for now and for the next year. And actually, this is, correct me guys if I'm wrong, but it's a 3-year program, I think, but will always be focused on and adjusted as time goes on. So, and I hope people that are in this room, people who are yet to be members, will all want to join and take on those programs, because I can all see that they're big areas of focus that we need to work on. And even like Martha, as I look at you, you're going to focus on disaster relief for people with disabilities. That's discrimination that you're working on, because people with disabilities, when there's a disaster, we found out that most countries have no clue what to do. And so we're really going to focus on that. But that fits into that accessibility in many different areas of those eight different things. So we look forward to you working on that. We look forward to Dr. Doreen working with the youth at this point. Chad, I don't know if you're still here or not, but Chad is focusing on actually bringing the music, people with disabilities who are musicians, I have a hard time with that word, things like that. So there are many opportunities, many things that need to be worked on. We're going to keep you busy, Tatum, when you're beyond your already busy life, when helping us better figure out how communications in there is one of the pillars. So, anybody have any questions at this point that we can address or want to talk about anything at this point before we close down this annual meeting? No? Good to see you, John. Good to see you here. Mark?
The only comment I would make, Ken, is if anybody sees Ken come up on their call list, beware. He is the best man that I've ever known at actually getting people involved in a positive manner, not just doing something on the side, but actually getting into it. I've been working in the disability industry for 40 plus years. I've been in Rotary over 40 years. So he is one heck of a mover and shaker. The only trouble is we need to find his handbrake on occasion so that we can actually haul him back in and allow us to catch up with him and his vision, which is one that we should all share. Thank you, Ken, for being who you are.
I appreciate that, but this is not about me. It's not about me. It never has been about me. And, it's always been about the cause to me. That's always we're number one. Are there any other thoughts before we shut this down? Mark, you got your hand up?
Okay.
No, I just wanted to mention that I've been working on it for quite a while. It's The Making of the Mark, the musical. It's based on roughly my what I went through being neurodiverse and still do go through. But I've been helping quite a number of schools and building schools for neurodiverse individuals in different parts of the world. And of recent, I've been doing things in Uganda and looking at other parts of the world as well. But when you see the level of poverty that's there, and in junior school, you can be looking at 200, 300, 400, 500 children in one classroom to one teacher, and the juniors are sitting on the ground, and you obviously have all the other things that go with just sitting on a piece of ground in the middle of nowhere. So no matter how good you do the teacher training, and I'm trying to do with the school in Uganda I'm working with at the moment, you fly training manuals from Florida University. And as I say, no matter how good you get the teachers to, you're still not going to get across the point of how a neurodiverse learner goes. And that goes for kids and for the teachers. So the reason for doing the musical is to try and see if we can go in a different angle and see if we can get it across so people, kids and teachers, can then potentially, hopefully, get a little understanding of a neurodiverse learner and be kind to them. I've got a number of professors in America involved with it. 8 o'clock tonight, I've got another meeting regarding the musical. That there's a lot going on in the background trying to put it together. But okay, it will be the musical there and roughly based on my life story, But as with a Shakespeare play, different parts of the world can adapt the musical and change it to their own culture and change names and make it their own. So hopefully they will connect with it more. So hopefully at some point that will come across. But in February next year, I should be in America, and one of the professors is in California, another one's in New York, and then we've got Colorado, and yeah, there's quite a few all involved doing this. And I'll be going to the LDA that I'm a board director of conference in St. Louis, and hopefully try and promote the concept of the musical. I don't know if it will work, but it's what a neurodiverse person does, is try and think outside the box.
Well, the more you can get your name out, your story out, Mark, because your story it tells everything. Your story tells everything. So you've got a book, now this musical. Those of you who, I urge you to read his book, Making a Mark, which is an easy read, but it makes you better understand the struggles of a neurodiverse person. So I'm glad you're going to have that musical out that will also get that message out too. Because what's going to happen is somebody's going to look at it and say, and I did the same thing, Mark, when I read your book. I went through the same thing. So it's good to hear your story, because it helps others better understand that, yeah, I've gone through the same thing and the same struggles, and there's another person out there who's done it too, and actually lived a successful life. So I'm glad any way you can tell your story, Mark. We're much for it. So looking forward to that musical that I know you're working with Donna on. Ted?
But it filters into mental health as well.
Yes.
So I mean, it crisscrosses a multitude of things. It doesn't sit in isolation.
I'm so looking forward to it. Yeah, I really am. Ted, are you there? What you got there,
Yes,
Tatum?
sir. Yes, sir. Man, let me tell you, I believe it's so important to tell our life, to be able to let people know what things we went through and how we got out. And also with the emergency things, I ran into a lot of that, a lot of them not knowing where to go or how to, what stuff to have, what supplies to have in case of emergency, and just looking forward to help in any way we can. The biggest thing is, though, the skills that we are taught are the things that we're learning. It's so good to share with others and help others come out of that space, because some of them they've just been like this for so long that no one's ever told them that it's okay, to come out of that space, to come out of that box and do so many good things. And so I just wanted to share that really quick, that it's good for us, to share that, well, what things we learn and home in on skills, and we can teach others, and then others will be able to come out, come out of that box. They've been in that box too long, and now it's time to come out and go into the world and let the world know, your story, because that's what people want to hear. They really want to hear your story, what you went through, and how people came and supported you and got you out, so I just wanted to share that.
No, you're absolutely right. And maybe if we can do more of that kind of stuff for this club, that would be healthy to do. And the good thing about it too is that, anybody particularly with this neurodiversity, but other areas too, have gone through a lot of stigma that they constantly need to deal with and all the rest of their life. And to be proud of who you are is extremely important. And I think if we can do that, share that with other people, that would be great. Dr. Sigamoni.
Yeah, thank you, Chairperson. So, Mark, I listened to you and I listened to Ted, and we did a review of. We spent this last year reviewing inclusive education in South Africa, and we gave the national minister a report at the beginning of this month. But, you know, I hear you and I hear what Ted says, and I think it's so important that you do what you do. But I think that the education systems across the world have a performance culture. And what that performance culture does is it excludes people that don't operate on the basis of the norm that supports that performance culture. So, you know, what we did was we articulated this in the narrative, and we said that vulnerability should be brought to the center of the education system. Because so many people, for example, if you live in a country like mine, the majority of people are disabled, or the majority of people are vulnerable. There's a relationship between poverty and disability. If you don't change the system, you are not going to get inclusive education. That's the argument we made. And so I think, you know, when we organize our conferences and so on in education, we need to talk about shifting paradigms, because we cannot allow people to struggle the way they do across the world. Now, if you look at the United States, and I stand to be corrected here, but this is the way I understand what has happened, is that they moved special education into another department. So what they are saying is that they support the medical model. It's a conservative right-wing model, right? So those I think at a global level, we have a global committee. We need to address the ideological issues. We need to address the issues of paradigm and paradigm shifts. And we need to change the assumptions about disability and inclusion amongst the majority of mainstream academics, mainstream educationists in the world. I'll stop there, Ken. Thank you.
Yeah, there's a lot of work to do, Dr. Sigamoni, as you know, and I know you, God bless you, you've dedicated the rest of your life to working on that and the need for that. So much appreciated. I posted, or I saw it on social media that the first astronaut in a wheelchair is, I think she's gone into outer space. And I thought, how great is that? And then I read the comments of people afterwards. They were so discriminatory to her, calling her names and all sorts of things. We got so much work to do. We really got so, and when you get to the education system, the need of the lack of knowledge that is there. Dr. Sigamoni, you already taken that lead, and I hope you continue to take that lead in this club as we work on that, because yeah, in a community that's that is low income, it's just multiple times over that. So, and it's part of it is the lack of knowledge, but that's a whole discussion. Again, Dr. Sigamoni has written a book. I'll welcome you to read. Education in the working class. Is that what it is? Someone has the title of it. I think you can find it on Amazon. Any other comments? Yeah. Mark. Making a mark, Mark.
Yeah, thank you. I was fortunate the last couple of years or so of my schooling, up until I was about 18 and a half, to go to a school down in Sussex in England. And it's the first dyslexic school that was ever in the world. And Dyslexia, it was, I mean, it's over 100 years ago that it was first founded. And so you sit and you look at it and look at America, you look at Britain, you look at Europe, you look at the Western world, and okay, there's a certain amount of poverty there, but compared to some other parts of the world that is extreme poverty, it's the same thing that it comes back down to. It's back down to funding. It's back down to money. And that is your biggest problem, is money. But if you look at what the dyslexia organization in Singapore is doing, and they're getting quite a lot of backing from their government and getting a lot of backing from commerce to help support what they're doing to help the children in school. So I don't know how you ever will resolve it, funding. I don't know how you're going to resolve that, because we haven't in over 100 years.
Well, and that's why, to me, Dr. Doreen, the working with the youth now, because when we're gone, we need them to continue this, because it's going to be like a forever thing. Sadly, it's going to be forever. So we need advocates to continue to be there in the future. If there are no other comments, we've gone an hour and a half. Dr. Sigamon. Are you there, Doctor? You got your hand up, but you're muted.
So can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now, sir. Yes.
Okay, thank you. So I hear this thing about the money, right? And I understand it, right? But I think we have to ask the question, how is it that we are in this situation in 2025, where so many people have experienced challenges and nobody listens to it? Now, I've seen this in the education system that I studied and I wrote about and so on. And I think that those of us who are parts of forums such as this must begin to start changing and influencing the international debate. I mean, we can have these kind of discussions which are very useful, but we need to point out where the challenges are, right? Because I also believe that a lot of people, so I've decided that to embark on another project, to write another book, which is titled Education Systems are Engines of Inequality. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I think that the problem doesn't only exist in the developing world. It's in the UK, it's in the US. Large numbers of children are being excluded from mainstream education and are not getting a quality education. And so there is a false narrative in education, and I want to address that. But as an international organization, we have to find ways of influencing and impacting on the mainstream debate. Because I think a lot of people in the world are fooled. That United States thing that happened with the shifting of the education departments, there hasn't been any discussion about it. And I'm quite sure that many universities in the US are aware of it. And many people in the US have seen what happened, but they do not understand the implications, because from Salamanca, we tried to shift from a medical model to a social model. In 2025, the system in one of the biggest economies and the most influential countries in the world is taking us back about 40 or 50 years. So I just wanted to say that, Ken, we have a bigger responsibility.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Look forward to your new book. I really look forward to it. Okay, I'd like to officially kind of shut this meeting down. We've gone beyond an hour and a half here, but much appreciated. You all being here, much appreciate the work that you're doing and will continue to do. We need you all. The world needs you all. And I'm glad we have an opportunity here to to give you an opportunity through the club to do more. So much appreciated. Happy holidays to you all. Happy New Year. And we'll be back again in January, continuing the cause. Take care of you all.